All right. Now I should be able to do this without the previous issue happening. Now then, wanted to go into discussion about something that's been constantly used as a conflict of interest, and this thing that has been used as a conflict of interest has always been the idealism of racism and just race in general. Judging from I'm pretty sure a lot of you would agree on me with this, with what I'm about to say. Um, okay, so normally, judging from the the type of language that's being used with, I'm not calling them black. I'm not calling myself black. I call myself brown skin, and I'm calling them brown skin. Okay. Now, if you want to know why, hey, get a sheet of cardboard that's colored black, put that up against your skin, and you tell me if your damn skin tone color is that color, because it's not. Nobody on the face of on the planet is black as ace of spades. Okay, nobody. You're brown skin, not black. Um, Same thing can be said about Caucasians. They're not white. They're a different color, but you could say Caucasian, but at the same time, that still means white. So, what's the real appropriate word for the skin tone? That's people. That's proof that history's been fucked up. I remember Zacchaeus. Now I've said this before. I remember Zacchaeus was talking about mentioning something called like the Afro, um, Afro race or something like that. Then you see the hairstyle of folks wearing afros. So I guess it kind of tied into one another, but it's hard to say. It really is because they messed with so much. The enemy has messed with so much history that it's really hard to say what those what the real names of those two you know races are. No one is colored white. No one is colored black. Nobody. And yet, look at what we're seeing. We're seeing people who are brown skinned get pissed off, you know, because someone of another race would call them the N word. But at the same time, people from that same race that feel offended are also using that exact same word and saying, "Oh no, no, it's okay for me to say it, but you can't say it." People, really think outside the box on that. Is it appropriate to use a word that was used? Um, if this part of history is right, which I don't believe it is, and I believe they basically did that to just you know try to create a conflict of interest. I believe they twisted history to where they made it seem like brown skins were that much oppressed. But does it really do your answer? If that's the case, right? If that was really the case, does it really? Do you really think that it's doing your ancestors justice when you basically use the N word yourself? No, that's like adding salt to the wound. That's adding insult to injury right there. That's what that is. People, people in the past who were slaves, and this was not just brown skinned folks. This was many different races of many different cultures that were enslaved due to what the crap that we're seeing now. What do you see people? What type of people do you see out there doing all this corruption? You see people of all colors, of all races. You don't see no singularity one. No, it's all people of all races. I went to Twitter. I saw the videos, and I saw people who were, supposedly protesting with the BLM movement, and I'm seeing people of different colors, different nationalities doing the vandalism, doing the thievery, doing the breaking and entering, hurting folks, stealing folks, killing folks, people of different colors. This ain't no one-sided thing. They want to turn it into that just so they can play the blame game, so they can play that card. I'm stripping that card completely out of play with this message I'm putting out right now. There is no such thing as a black human being, and there is no such thing as a white human being. This whole thing was basically concocted and created to basically have a conflict of interest. Now, why is it that the actual name, um, again, I could just call myself brown skin because my skin is brown. It is brown. You could have a darker shade. You could be even pure African, straight from Africa. Have a way darker shade, but it is still brown. It is still somewhat brown. It's a darker shade. It's a darker color of the skin, but it's still brown. I have not seen nobody on this planet with skin as black as charcoal. I have not seen nobody on this planet with skin as black as spades. I have not seen anybody on this planet with that skin tone color, yet you see all of this infighting, all of this arguing, all of this bitterness, and I'm just like, seriously, wake the hell up. Wake up. I have never seen not one person, anyone, the color black. I've never seen it. Not even once. And then I look at what's going on and I'm like, how do people not even question that? How? It just doesn't make any sense. Which brings me to the other part of why I was saying like I wasn't gonna, fight no damn civil war, because people nowadays are just too damn stupid, man. They just are. They're stupid, they're blind, and it's either they're unwilling to wake up or they know what's really going on, or they're just, supported all along with, they're just a fool in with the mix who's just being paid off until they inevitably cut that person off. Same thing's going to happen with these gang stalkers. Same thing's going to happen to all of them. The people who are pushing the buttons for this stuff don't want any of them around. You best believe it. Come on, man. Didn't Bill Gates say that they want people with a certain type of IQ, certain people who fit their idealism? I don't think people who they're using fits into that idealism. Because think about it. If they want, they poison the skies that we're TIs, they poison the skies where gang stalkers are in. They poison the food, gang stalkers eat that food. They poison all of this stuff, and yet these gang stalkers still do that. These gang stalkers are basically controlled people. They're robots, they're mindless idiots, and that's just it. But you know something? At the same time, when it comes to this programming, it's very deceptive. It's nobody's fault that this happened, except for the people who pushed for it to happen. People who are helping them are definitely a problem onto this situation, indefinitely. But I said it before and I say it again. There's no reason for any of this infighting, and they're doing nothing but just creating a conflict of interest just to push for what they want. And this is what I've been saying about with the government too. They are the assholes creating the problem. They create the problem so that they can push in the solution that they had already came up with. They created a problem to basically push forward a solution that they had already planned out. Always understand where there's always going to be a need for something, even if you have to basically destroy something or alter something to create that need. And this is, what they've been doing for quite some time. I remember watching Look Out for Charlie's video about the whole Amazon thing and what they're doing. They're not trying to send out bots to basically deliver your packages. I've been made a video about what the issues with Amazon, and I no longer shop with them anymore after what I had figured out. If you hadn't seen the video on my other channel, I highly suggest you guys to definitely check that out. There were people who purchase something and they automatically say, oh, well, like, we're just not going to send your shit to you. They just sent it to some random address, had someone who was not the individual who purchased it sign for it, and then that's it. The person who basically tried to get their money back, or at least try to get something in return. It's a scam, people. It's a damn scam. It's a freaking scam. You want to know what they would offer you in a scenario like that? Oh, I'll tell you what they'll offer you. They'll offer you a gift card. They'll offer you a damn gift card. When they decide that shit. Now, here's my situation. If you all saw the other videos that I posted before way back, you would see that, Jimmy Swaggart Industries owns the property of where my targeting is happening at. So even if they do give the money back to me, guess where it's still gonna have to go for rent. Who owns this building in which I'm living in? Jimmy Swaggart Ministries, the same crooked ass company that has basically been swindling people out of their money for quite some time, and who's had many different ties into a lot of corruptive things that a lot of people don't know. Well, in the end, I guess a lot of people do know because of how famous the church was, but it doesn't change the fact that what the stuff is still happening, and people who live here know this shit is happening. People who work in this building know this shit is happening, and they are still on board. And I'm like, this is some really effed up stuff, and it makes sense why there's so many damn problems out here, especially with the HIV mess. I remember watching a news article about that. There was only one person who basically said it how it was. People, the reason why this shit is, the reason why that's such a huge problem out here is simply because people don't talk about it. They don't talk about it. Let me give you a prime example of just how much they don't talk about it. My cousin, she worked in a medical clinic, and I told the story before. The guy basically approached her, tried to flirt with her. He was there to pick up his medication, but his medication was for HIV. He tried getting the digits of my cousin, who works at a medical clinic, who basically distributes the medicine, and this guy had HIV. Yeah, that's how bad the shit is. They don't care. They do not give a fuck, man. They don't. So what would happen if she had given a guy like that a chance, and she wasn't working there, and well, guess what? She probably would have caught what he has, and he would have not given a shit about it. I know this because I knew a woman who this happened to before. I never slept with this woman, but she was a good friend to me or whatever, somewhat in a way. I haven't talked to her in quite some time now, though. I have to part ways because apparently, as you know, the targeting situation. I believe they got to her at some point, and maybe they were trying to just purchase get her to basically pry for information. I kind of knew what was happening, but it got to a point to where I had to part ways after that. It was just it just wasn't gonna work out. But anyway, she was working with somebody, right? And apparently, I kept telling her this. I kept warning her, don't start sleeping around with random people. Don't. And she did it anyway, and she caught something that she can't get rid of. I tried warning her, but she didn't listen. So, that's it on that. And especially people at work, man. You can't. They hire just about anybody nowadays at certain jobs. Not to mention, it's never it's a MGTOW, like it's not, I already know, like it's never a good idea to either sleep or date the women you work with. That is just a recipe for a big freaking disaster. What's gonna happen when you two get into a fight and you gotta work with one another? Bringing outside issues into the job site, man, no. What else? What's gonna happen? Understand, people love to flirt, and people are not always gonna know that you two are a couple. They're not gonna know that shit, man. So what happens when you catch a new coworker who just so happens to roll on in, don't even have any idea what's going on, and that person starts flirting with your woman? You're not gonna like that shit. No. Again, another conflict in the midst of the workforce. But I don't want to get off topic here, so let me get back on topic. It's my understanding that a lot of brown skinned folks who have been programmed into this social way of thinking, and it is a program. Now, a lot of these individuals tend to use the N word quite a lot, and they use an excuse to still utilize this conflict of interest. It's an excuse to just keep saying it. That's just how I see it. They change a single letter out of it just so they can still say it. You see, it may not be the exact same word, but that's still in reference, and it's still way too close to that other word. And I'm about to prove it too. If this whole their main excuse for that is saying, well, like it's supposed to be family related, like we're all blood, we're brothers, and this stuff like that. That's a load of bullshit. That is not what that word stands for, and they will tell you that in a heartbeat. A lot of folks a lot of folks just fall for this, believing that that's just the norm, just because they're told this is how you're supposed to act. You got to really start thinking outside the box for yourself on this one, and not just take things what people say like that, like you used to, because now it's definitely not the time for that. Um, the word that the phrase that basically got used for for family, for togetherness, and for unity and all that stuff. Then this was for every freaking race. Nobody was excluded when it came to this word. Nobody. And it was my brother from another mother, my sister from another mother. That could mean anyone of any skin tone, of any nationality, of any type of anything. That meant everybody. That signifies unity. When you're basically bringing up a negative topic such as the N-word like that, that is ignorance. That is nothing but a bunch of bitterness and hate in your heart when you bring up a word like that. That is a conditioned word that has been set out there for people to, just to learn that, so that they would keep saying it, to keep people conditioned into that type of mindset. Aren't you seeing a lot of these individuals basically calling their own, women of their own race a bunch of bitches and hoes? I'm a MGTOW. I don't call a woman a bitch unless she actually is acting like a bitch. I don't call a woman a hoe unless she's actually acting like a hoe. That's just me. Um, and something. It's the same thing. Like anybody, remember, anybody of any gender could be a bitch. Anybody of any gender could be a hoe. There is no singularities to that. You know. See, they basically idolized sleeping around with multiple partners. But look at you want to know what that is. You want to know why that's a program too. HIV was basically put out there by scientists, right? It's the same shit about herpes and all that other shit. The scientists who've been experimenting on people with their bullshit put that stuff out there. They wanted you to sleep around as much as people were, so that they can spread that shit out. They were using people as guinea pigs. That's what it was. They think I don't see through that shit, but I do. Um, Pretty much any sexually transmitted disease, any type of disease like that, has all been man-made. Every single one of them. Um, Maybe there's a few that come natural. I don't know. Maybe I'm overlooking some. But it doesn't change the fact that a lot of this stuff that's been majorly out there has been definitely man-made. Now, a lot of people, will come up with the story saying, "Oh, well, like, they were testing this stuff with apes and shit like that." People, that's a fucking cover story. That's a fucking cover up. Have you not noticed what the shit they've been putting in the vaccinations? Have you not noticed the shit they've been putting in the skies? They've been spraying on you. The stuff they've been putting in your food. They use citizens within a fucking country as guinea pigs for their shit. That's the reality of what we're living in. This whole inward business is just nothing but a tool used for a conflict of interest to stir up an argument, to stir up, just to come up with an excuse to basically have, something to say. Problem is, though, a lot of these people who do this, they tend to have a lot of problems, and they don't ever face their problems. They want to blame other people for their problems all the time. All the time. They blame the very system that has been fucking them over, and they try to give responsibility to the system to basically try to fix the problem. The same system that has not been working for them ever since. Now, people, does it make sense to them, to even try to demand change from a system that has basically been intentionally fucking you over this entire time? And when you start to come to the realization of this, you start to understand why I myself am getting off the grid. The power is not within the government, it is within the people. Without the people, The government has no power. Even with the military, they can't run all the shit that's required to basically, keep this economy functioning, keep the businesses running. They can't do that. That's too much, too many positions to fill, too many tasks to do, and not a single one person can do all of that in a single damn day. That is technically impossible. It is not possible for one person to be making deliveries, for the trade routes, while at the same time working, working the stores, while at the same time protecting the country, supposedly supposed to be protecting the country and the borderlines and shit, police in the streets, doing all the day-to-day. They need tons of people to do all of that shit. That's why the people have the power. It's not until people start to realize this that they'll actually stop, kissing Uncle Sam's ass and really start doing stuff that benefits themselves and not be so fucking, not following the selfish agenda. This agenda is for, is set out there for the elites. Anything that is any reward for that shit is for, pushing their agenda. That's a temporary thing. They can take, like I said, they don't have to pay you shit if they can control you. They don't have to pay you a dime. They don't have to give you shit. They don't give a damn about any of these people who they hire. They don't care. They don't. These people could die the next day and they would not give two shits. They're like, oh well, another spot to fill. That's how they treat them. These gang stalkers who are hired to basically psyop us TIs are expendable. They're just nothing more, to them, they're nothing more than a means to an end. Most of them are probably just being controlled. Now, in regards to this situation, as far as this conflict of interest, I've noticed a lot of arguments that I've, just from random videos throughout the years, and it seems like people who are within brown skin who are, are programmed that way, and I'm going to say that way. I'm not going to say, because I've already gave an explanation. I'm not giving another explanation on what that is. So anyway, people who are basically, brown skin folks who are programmed that certain type of way, they tend to always bring race into an issue. Not all the time, but from damn near all the, whenever it came into a conflict of a person with who was a part of a different race that has a lighter texture to their skin, it always seems to always drop down to race. Every single time someone, even if it's not the people in the midst of the argument, someone on the outside saying, oh, they just got to bring race into the mix. They got to bring it into, like they just do this because I'm this. They just do this because I'm that. And here's the deal, though. In some cases, there have been incidences where people will play favorites. Because of just because of a skin tone color. They will do that shit. There have been several occurrences like that. So I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but I'm saying that people are it's a situation to where people are just pushing for the agenda that they want. They want people to be segregated like that, separated like that, so that they can create conflict to push their interests. They want people's, they want other people's attention towards that conflict so that they can, go behind the sidelines and push for the stuff they need to push for their interests to get the shit that they want fulfilled. You need to keep an eye on the stuff that they don't want you to see. These riots, all of this crap is nothing more than a distraction. Now, I didn't go into full detail about that, that Look Out for Charlie's vid, so I'm going to go ahead and mention that now. Apparently with the Amazon situation, they're sending out robots. So here's the deal: these robots don't seem like they're able to defend themselves. And you've seen, even before this, does it make sense to send robots to basically move your shit around when these vehicles are being attacked? No. What they just recommend people, maybe it's just best if either pick your stuff up directly from maybe just go straight to a place or something like that. Just try to find whatever you need locally. Would they go out and say that? No, they still want your money. They definitely still want your money. So, apparently they're planning on sending out robots to basically deliver your shit. They're gonna eventually have these hired people to attack these robots, and yes, they are hired. It isn't just people who are hired; it could be just random people. Porch pirates have been known far and wide now. They have been caught several times too. So it just doesn't make any, it doesn't make much sense, to really do that. And what's going to happen is when those people start attacking those bots, they're just going to weaponize those machines. And then it's not going to be with actual lethal weaponry. It's going to be with it's going to be with DEW weaponry. You understand why they're trying to basically defund the police force? What do you think they're going to have to replace it? Think about that. What do you think they're going to have to replace the police force? It ain't going to be no human, I tell you that I'll tell you that much right now. It is not going to be a human. Anyway, that's basically all I wanted to go over. Understand that white folks are not white, black folks are not black. As far as the correct pronunciation for people who are of a different race, of a lighter skin tone color, whatever the original name for that is, I'm sorry, but I don't know. I really wish I did, but I intend. Maybe there's a way to find out. Maybe there is a way to find out. I'll see what I can do about that. Until then, as soon as I find something, I'll definitely keep you guys posted about that. But that's basically the situation. Now, here's the other thing of which most people don't know. Now, it was a woman who, from back way. This woman was in her use way back during this, the whole supposedly slavery thing that was going on. This woman was really old school, as old as you can get. Now, when it came to the issue amongst race, one of her grandchildren ended up asking her, right? And this was what he had told about this. And what he said, repeated what she said. He said that basically, the people, the corrupt, basically, orchestrated and twisted the story of slavery to fit their agenda. Don't ignore people who tell you that these assholes planned this shit out from years back. Don't ignore people like that because they're telling you the truth. These assholes have planned this shit for years. They have planned. This is going back way far back. Everything that has ever been currently invented during these times, these years that has passed by, has all somewhat, if it is dealing somewhat with their technology, if it has anything to do with any of the stuff that they haven't got going on, it is involved with their tech, and it has already been pre-planned out. The smartphones, the smart TVs, the Project Bluebeam, the cell towers, the smart meters, the the spraying of the skies, the fluoridation in the water. All of that shit been pre-planned, even in the ingredients in your food. All of it has been pre-planned. All of it. Understand that history is not what we thought it was. The real history has been hidden. Certain portions of it has been destroyed. Quite countless amounts of it has been destroyed, actually, because they did not want people seeing the truth. Stay safe, everybody. Stay strong.